3 diet rules that I give to every client over 30. Sean here from Fit Fusion Brotherhood. I owned a gym for 10 years. I've coached thousands of clients, and one of the things that I hear all the time is how overwhelming nutrition can be, because we know there's such a strong correlation between someone's diet and whether or not they're going to achieve their goals. So we want to make sure that your nutrition, that your diet, number 1, that it works. Number 2, that it's sustainable. Number 3, that it's personalized for you and your lifestyle. So if you're over the age of 30, there are some rules that I give specifically for men like you. So follow this video. I'm going to explain what these 3 things are to make sure that you can get the results without feeling like you're going completely crazy with all of these restrictions and rules, and we're going to simplify it so hopefully nutrition is no longer overwhelming. Rule number 1, prioritize protein. This one's very simple. You've probably heard it before, but it is super important for everyone, but especially if you're over the age of 30. And that's because as we get older, it becomes a lot more difficult to gain muscle, and it becomes very easy to lose muscle. And what happens once you lose muscle is your metabolism actually slows down. So there's this myth and misconception out there that we just naturally have a slower metabolism as we get older. That's only the case if it's self-inflicted. So if you're losing muscle, then your metabolism is going to start going down. So one of the ways you can help mitigate this is making sure that you're getting enough protein and really prioritizing it through every single meal. So whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner, even a snack, the suggestion, the advice that I always give is you want that protein to be the foundational element of every single dish. It should be the highlight. It should be the star of the dish, and then you build around that. So making sure you get enough protein is one of the strongest correlative factors between whether or not you succeed, whether or not you don't. So protein has a ton of massive benefits other than just preserving muscle. It's going to help you feel full for longer, so you're not going to overeat as much. It's going to also burn more calories through digestion. So you actually burn more calories digesting protein than you do carbs and fat. And then of course, it's going to help with your recovery as well, because hopefully you're exercising and you're doing the correct things that way as well. So diet rule number 1, if you're over the age of 30, this one's a non-negotiable: prioritize protein. Rule number 2, eat like an adult, not like a dieter. What do I mean by that? So one of the biggest mistakes a lot of guys over the age of 30 make is they want to get results super quick, so they go on these crash diets. What we call yo-yo diet. They lose weight, they gain weight, they lose weight, they gain weight. So they get quick results, but they suddenly fall back into old habits and gain all that weight back, which may not seem like a bad thing. But remember in the first point where I said losing muscle helps or kind of slows down your metabolism? Yo-yo dieting also slows down your metabolism. So you want to make sure that you're not being overly aggressive with your diets, especially if you can't maintain it, because the more you yo-yo diet, you gain and lose fat. What's actually happening is your fat cells are shrinking and expanding, which is totally normal. But when you yo-yo diet, this is the one time other than excessive obesity where your body actually produces extra fat cells, which you don't want. Okay, so you want to make sure you're eating like an adult. So something that is sustainable, something that is healthy, something that's going to work well for your lifestyle and not allow you to go through these really aggressive diet breaks where you're losing a ton of weight and then gaining it right back. Okay, so understanding what your triggers are, what your goals are, and then ask yourself the question, can I see myself doing this long term? If the answer is no, you're eating like a dieter. And then rule number 3 is to control calories without counting everything. So there's a little bit of an asterisk here, because I think at least once in your life, you should track calories. So by counting calories, by weighing and kind of measuring everything, you're going to understand so much about nutrition, so much about nutritional balance and energy balance, and what works and what doesn't work. Think of counting calories as riding a bike with training wheels. It's a great way to get started, but eventually you want to be able to take those training wheels off and go on your own. So if you've counted calories before, that's great. That means you already probably have some sort of calorie awareness. Now, if you use tracking calories as a way to stay accountable, that's one thing, but you shouldn't rely on them just to get you results every single time. So understanding what works and what doesn't work is super important. But once you go through that phase of counting your calories, we want to allow you to eat the foods that you want without counting calories and still getting results. Okay, so this makes life a lot easier. You're a lot more flexible. You can go out to restaurants without having to bring your scale everywhere. You don't have to track every little morsel and piece that you eat because you inherently know how much of each is in everything that you're eating. So having that awareness, having that education is super important. And then it's also very liberating knowing that you can have any specific structure with your diet and it's going to work for you because you understand the principles involved. So once you graduate through that counting calorie process, it's a really good idea to try to get into the process of not counting calories, but understanding the calorie balance while still getting results. And once again, this isn't going to happen day one. We tend to think of intuitive eating as a great way to start, but it's actually very advanced. The best way to start is by counting calories and then eventually graduating into the point where you can do that intuitive eating. Okay, so track your calories, get your understanding and your awareness first, and then try to graduate and get to the point where you're successful without having to track everything. So if you're over the age of 30 and you're really struggling to get those results, maybe you're overwhelmed by nutrition and diet, I'd encourage you to try these 3 diet rules. Number 1, prioritize protein. Number 2, eat like an adult, not like a dieter. So don't go on these crazy aggressive diets. And then number 3, control calories without having to track everything. And I guarantee these 3 simple rules can allow you to be flexible with what you're eating, have a lifestyle that's suitable for you, but also get the results that you want in a long-term sustainable approach. If you enjoy videos like this, do us a huge favor, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.